Yo. Okay, so I've actually recorded a few videos of me working in Photoshop and doing animations and stuff like that. Um, but the problem with that was that they just turned out so long. Like I have maybe a few hours of footage, and it turned out to be really hard to edit down in a logical way because I'm like talking so much crap while I work. Um, so I figured I would like record a video, speed it up, and add the commentary later. So you guys are gonna be watching like a speeded up version when I'm working. So you don't have to sit through like hours of me just working in normal speed because I'd figured that would be kind of boring. So anyway, so this is me, and I'm gonna do a animation for the little guy on the left. It's a basic walk animation for him, and I'm kinda gonna base it upon the girl on the right, and that's why she's there because I did the walk animation for her first, and actually did a video of that, but it turned out way too long. So I'm gonna do this instead. And basically I'm trying to keep them pretty similar. So I'm using her as a base and just it's good to, at least it feels good to me to have something to base my animations upon, because mostly because it saves so much time, because like I could do the little guy's animation just without anything to look at, but it takes a bit longer, and it makes more sense that they have kind of similar walking styles because they are both kids. So like it might come across as cheating, but to me it's just a time saver and makes sense. So yeah, like I started working on the legs and the feet because that's probably the most important thing about walk animation. But now I'm working on the arms, and adding like a nice little swing to them to like balance it out. And like a pretty important thing to remember is if let's say his right arm is swinging towards the camera, then his left leg should be like extended towards the camera, and if his left arm is extended towards the camera, his right leg should be extended to the camera, because I've done the mistake of having the right leg and the right arm extended at the same time a million times, and it doesn't look super weird if you're doing it for like a sprite of this size because they are so small. But if you try to walk like that in real life, you're gonna realize how freaking retarded it looks. So that's just like if you're doing a bunch of animations and you're doing walk animations, it's like a good thing to remember. Because I've actually, when I recorded the video of the girl, I did that mistake, so I had to like redo it, and yeah, happens to me a lot. Yeah, okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm like fixing the legs, and as you can see, I go back and I look at animation a lot when I work, just to see that everything makes sense, and I tend to jump back and forth between frames, like back and forth between just two frames a lot, to check that everything makes sense and that the motion is alright. Because like even if you have super good looking individual frames, that doesn't really make up for good animation. So just like look at your animation a lot if you're doing it to see that the motion is okay, because that's the most important part. So yeah, now I'm just like I'm copying previous frames and I'm changing them. Like when you're doing a animation, a walk animation that's like downwards, like this one is towards the camera, so to speak, you can actually take a lot of shortcuts. And what I'm doing now is when I've done the first half, the first 4 frames of the animation, I just take the exact same frames and I mirror them, like I flip them over, and it actually it works, and it saves a lot of time. So like as I said, if you can find like shortcuts to make things go smoother, just even if it feels like you're like like you're taking shortcuts and blah blah blah, just it doesn't matter as long as it looks good. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I think that he's got this like, it's supposed to be like a scarf or whatever. I guess it's kind of hard to see because of the amount of pixels. But what I'm doing now is I'm trying to give it like a nice flowy motion, so it swings back and forth as he goes. And I'm gonna be sitting with this for a good 20 minutes or something, because the way I work is I'm not one of those guys that can whip together super amazing pieces of art in like a matter of minutes and just knows everything about all there is to draw. I'm more of like the experimental, trying stuff out guy. So I actually have like, I would say, 0 talent in what I'm doing. It's just that I'm a super hard worker and I try to learn, and I put in the hours. So I hate the word talent. It pisses me off when someone says oh, you're so talented, because I'm not. I've worked pretty hard to like achieve the knowledge I have about animation and art in general. So yeah. So I guess it's pretty hard to see when it's in this speed, but yeah, I'm trying to get somewhat of a nice motion to the stuff, to the scarf, and like polishing things up as I go. Like I know what I'm going for here, because that sound is the sound of my cat licking a bag of chips, if you're wondering. Yeah, because I love to work with fabrics when I animate, because it's such an easy way to make your work look cool. Because yeah, when you animate fabrics and like stuff blowing and shit like that, it turns your animation like twice as cool instantly. So I know what I know the motion of the scarf. Like I know what I want to achieve, but it can be so fucking hard at times when you're working at like the level of detail I'm doing now with like, what is it, like 6 pixels, which pretty much it turns it more into like a puzzle more than like an art piece or whatever. Like yeah, you have to be like, you have to, you know, laying a puzzle and thinking more logically, I guess, than artistically. And it's pretty frustrating at times, but it's super satisfying when you actually manage to make something look super good with such a small amount of stuff to work with. So yeah, and I think I'm getting there now. It took me like longer than, yeah, okay, I'm done with the scarf. What I'm doing now is just adding shadows. So So it's just like I'm copying her shadow because they are pretty much the same size. So once again, I could be making custom made or whatever shadows for the tiny guy, but it's just nobody's gonna notice, especially since they are like NPCs. I'm gonna be like walking around in some village and nobody's probably ever gonna talk to them. So for stuff like that, try to just save time, because at least I do, because it makes sense to me. And yeah, okay, and now I'm like cropping the image, and yeah, here it is, walking like a champ. And this is probably not the greatest video to like showcase my my work progress or whatever, because yeah, this was a pretty simple animation. Well, like if this turns out to be something that you guys would want to see more of, then I'll try to record like a more epic animation next time. You know, like, I don't know, some super amazing attack animation or whatever. And yeah, I guess that's that. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna go back to work now. Talk to you guys later.